Thank you, Madam Chair. So in regards to, I want to reference what the ranking member was questioning you on just a few minutes ago. Have you had talks with the National Security Division regarding the memo from the Attorney General?
I have not, Congressman.
So are you ignoring the directive that the Attorney General's office put out?
I don't believe there was any specific directive for me as U.S. Attorney to coordinate with the National Security Division on that issue, Congressman.
So there was not a directive that you coordinate from the U.S. Attorney's office?
There was a directive in the October 4th memorandum that we convene a meeting with our federal and local partners on that issue, which we did. I'm not familiar with any directive that I work with or coordinate with the National Security Division.
You talk about criteria and things like that to deal with the root causes of crime. Do you consider parental involvement as something that's important that should be included as one of those top issues?
I think certainly people's family circumstances and support can contribute to crime. I think there's plenty of evidence that suggests that having stable and healthy family environment makes it less likely that you're engaged in crime, in particular violent crime.
Thank you for that answer. So we've been, I've jotted down a few phrases that we've been hearing today: reimagining, of course, reallocate resources, antiquated ideas, violence interrupters. All those things have been bandied around today. And I would hark back to a week ago in regards to President Biden's State of the Union speech, where he said, we are going to fund the police. And I think it's very clear today that that was just rhetoric on the part of the president. All Americans should understand that you have, per the video that we saw earlier, per these words that we're hearing, per the poster that's right behind me, a quote from the chairman on June 7th of 2020, it's very clear that, it should be very clear to the American people that the majority party does not have an interest in getting control of crime. They do not have an interest in looking out for the interests of victims. And you can tell with the blame-shifting rhetoric that is being used. Two things that I've heard today: root causes and blame COVID. Where did we hear the term root causes about a year ago? It was when Vice President Harris was announced as being the border czar, or she's going to take care of border issues. First thing she talked about was, boy, we've got these root causes, we got to get control of this. Has it been brought under control what has happened on the southern border? Not at all. We just had all kinds of root causes rhetoric. So whenever you hear that term, phrase root causes, you know there's just going to be a lot of jabber-jawing that's going to go on. And then we see the second blame shift that goes on here. Let's blame COVID. Same thing that we're hearing from the president's press secretary. Why have oil prices all of a sudden gone up here in America? It's the Ukraine war. That's what caused these oil prices to go up, ignoring the fact that of what the American people know, that gasoline went up $1 a gallon. And it started on January 20th of 2021 when President Biden said, we are going to shut down fossil fuel use in this country. And what was the metaphor for it? It was Keystone XL, but there were numerous other actions that were taken that were going to shut it down. So here we got the all-purpose bugaboo, which is blame COVID. Now, I would encourage this committee perhaps to bring Dr. Fauci before us, and maybe he and some of the governors that put in place the draconian and unconscionable shutdowns, that maybe they should be answering for this. Because you maybe have hit on one of the root causes here, the shutdowns, the artificial shutdowns that we were warning you about, that there was going to be huge societal harm. And yes, we are, in part, we are seeing an increase in crime as a result of these unconscionable shutdowns that turned people's lives upside down. And where were those greatest shutdowns? They were in the big cities of America, where we've seen this striking increase in violent crime. I yield back.
Expired.
Ms. Brame, in 2007, the district attorney for Milwaukee County, who is still there, said, and this is a direct quote from him, "Is there going to be an individual I divert or I put into a treatment program who's going to go out and kill somebody?" You bet. Guaranteed. It's guaranteed to happen. It does not invalidate the overall approach. Have you heard that kind of talk from prosecutors in your city?
Actually, I haven't heard any talk of treatment from prosecutors in New York. I haven't heard any talk of it. That's something that I would, go ahead.
Have you had experience where a prosecutor has not prosecuted someone who should be?
Yes,
So you have seen someone being weak on crime by not prosecuting a heinous crime. Is that correct?
yes, and also judge.
Thank you. Mayor Turner, you said COVID contributed to crime in your city. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Were Houston schools shut down for a period of time?
Houston schools were closed for a period of time, and then we strongly encouraged them to reopen. Yes.
How long ago did they reopen? Do you know, Mayor?
They were open all the way through 21 in this academic year, and we strongly encourage all of our school districts to remain open.
So they were closed the 2020, 2021 school year?
In the 2021 period, they closed down, starting, I think, right around April of 2020, and remained closed through the remaining of that school year. And then in the following school year, they did open up.
Yeah, the devastation that has happened as a result of closing schools has just been awful, and we knew better by April of 2020 that that should not happen. Mr. Lehman, are police in retreat? Is there an impact of police being in retreat, which I think they are?
Yes, certainly both. We have survey evidence from major departments, as well as my own experience talking to officers, that they have a sense of, for lack of a term, being under fire. I think, their greatest concern in many departments, not all of them, but many departments, is that they lack the support of those in positions of leadership. And as a result, we reduce both the level of police staffing in many major cities. Many major cities saw declines in their overall staffing last year. And we know that the number of cops is directly related to the crime level. And also their willingness to be proactive, to be out on the beat, to confront somebody who they think is a problem before they are a problem. It is likely that both of these variables have gone down.
Yeah, so Mr. Lehman, I believe until both major parties come out and say and do more than just lip service in saying they support the police, that it's going to be hard for the police to not continue to be in retreat. Would you agree with that until they know that the public sentiment is behind them, which we're hearing, including with documents that are behind me here, until we hear that unequivocally, isn't it going to be hard for police to be able to offer good, constructive, safe policing that keeps our communities safe?
I think if police officers have a sense that they are not supported by civilian leadership, they are less willing to engage in the most challenging parts of police work, the most vital parts of police work, and also people are less willing to be and remain police officers, which contributes to a longer run staffing crisis.
Yeah, I just close with this. We just heard from the gentlewoman from Pennsylvania that she said rejected this notion that there's red cities, blue cities. You know what? It is very clear. In Democrat-run cities across America, crime has skyrocketed. Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, Madison, Milwaukee, you name it, wherever the political machine is run by Democrats, we've seen an explosion in crime. You can try to deny that. It is the case.